When we think about the climate economy, the center of it is the entrepreneur. They're leading. They're the creative human interface between ecology and economic progress. We're grateful to all those who pitched their creative business solutions to aspects of the climate challenge over the course of the last few months. We appreciate all those contestants who joined us to pitch in the lobby today, and I'd like to have a round of applause for all of them, please. And we excitedly welcome the 5 pitch contestants who will share their climate economy ideas with you tonight. To lead tonight's Future Formula Climate Economy Entrepreneur Pitch Contest, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Marguerite Dibble. Marguerite of GameTheory is Vermont's game master. She's working with utilities, with businesses, with nonprofits to use game design toolkits to achieve strategic goals. She's a partner in Alder Studios, which marketed this summit, and she's a rising leader for Vermont's future. Marguerite will be Master of Ceremonies for the pitchers and judges tonight. The stage is yours, Marguerite. Let's welcome her.
All right, thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody, for sticking around. Woo! Woo! That feels good. Everyone should just woo! Woo! It's like a little, get it out. Feels good. So thanks so much for sticking around. I'm really excited to have this pitch contest. Entrepreneurship is one of my favorite parts about being involved with Vermont as a state, so it's very exciting to be able to show off all of these young energy companies that are very excited to pitch their contest entries to our judges. And thank you to our judges for being here. So I would invite our judges to take a comfy seat. We have these big, beautiful armchairs ready for you here. If you would be so kind, thank you. And I'd invite anyone who's going to be pitching to come on up and take a seat close by so that you can easily get up. We've got a couple of open seats at the tables here so that you can be right hand on call. That would be awesome. Great, so thanks again for being here. I'm going to introduce the room to our judges quickly. As I introduce you guys, if you wouldn't mind standing up and giving a quick wave so people can see and know who you are, that would be awesome. First, we have Seyi Fabode. He is a partner at Asha Labs, an innovative consulting firm and seed stage fund focused on utility industry. He founded, raised capital, and sold a retail electricity marketplace platform and was recently named a top voice in technology by LinkedIn. Very cool. And his most recent book is The Anti-Fragile Grid. If you wouldn't mind just giving a wave to the room. Yay, thank you. We also have Janice St. Onge with us today. She is the president of Flexible Capital Fund, an L3C mission-based fund providing royalty financing to Vermont's agricultural, forestry, and clean energy businesses. Janice brings over 20 years of experience from the financial service industry and is a former International Ski Federation and Olympic judge for freestyle skiing. Very cool. Hello. Thanks. We also have Bryan Garcia with us tonight. Bryan Garcia is the president and CEO of the Connecticut Green Bank, the nation's first state-level green bank, demonstrating how smarter use of public resources can attract more private investment in the clean energy economy. Thanks a bunch. We've also got Bob Zulkoski. Bob has established and managed several award-winning managers of fiduciary capital and venture capital, real estate, and distressed debt, and raised over $5 billion in private equity capital, which his platforms invest in domestic and international markets. Awesome. Thanks for being here. And finally, we have Rob Miller here with us tonight. Rob is the president and CEO of VSECU, a credit union for all Vermonters. They're a leading lender for energy investments in this state. Thanks a lot, Rob. Awesome. So just to run through our rules again real quick here, what we're going to have is we're going to have the 5 people who got the most votes from all of you. Thanks again for voting, and to all of our entries who are out in the hall today. We're going to have those top 5 come up one at a time to pitch. The pitchers are going to have 6 minutes, and we're going to give them a 3-minute and a 30-second warning with some cards over here. So if you're curious, we'll wave them in your face, and I will cut you off. We're running late, so we'll be quick. It'll be great. And then I'm going to give the judges 3 minutes for questions, and then we're going to move on to the next one. And at the end, we'll take 10 minutes to deliberate. We'll make it fast. We'll make some good choices, and then we'll come on back and we'll award a prize. So thank you all so much for being here, and we're going to get started tonight with Rob and Floris from Glavel.
Thank you so much. We just got to figure out the magic wand. Oh, there we go. Got to make sure we got that going with the technology problems. So good evening. Clearly we're not in Vegas, so rather than having Penn and Teller, you get Rob and Floris. But like Penn and Teller, we do plan to make something disappear, and that is rigid foam board installation. Insulation. Funny facts about rigid foam board insulation. The first one is that it takes about a half a gallon of petroleum to produce one 4x8 foam board, which is crazy. That half gallon is taken, processed, chemicals are added to it, and then we bury that foam insulation into the ground. And most energy efficient buildings like the one we're in this evening require a layer of that insulation to meet their energy efficiency standards. And we believe there's got to be a better way than depending on petroleum to reach our energy efficiency goals. And that better way starts with recycled glass or beer bottles. The basic process that we'll be transforming is recycled glass out of New York City, grinding it into a powder, adding a little bit of glycerin as a foaming agent to create foam glass gravel. Our plant, when it's up and running, will transform 17,000 tons of glass from New York City into 140,000 cubic yards of foam glass gravel. Foam glass gravel is not a new exotic product. It's been around since the late 80s, widely utilized throughout Europe. The product has R2 per inch in terms of insulative qualities. It is amazingly easy to work with. So rather than contractors having to futz with those rigid foam boards, it's a super easy product to deliver on site, use conventional equipment to tamp it down and pour their forms. So there's an enormous amount of labor savings in our product. We are very fortunate to be partnered with the European leader in foam glass gravel, which is Geocell. Geocell's parent company, Schumglassbauer, is also the manufacturer of plants. We will be licensing all of their formulations to produce our product, as well as purchasing the equipment from them. And Geocell wants to be an equity partner in our joint venture once we get up and running. There are multiple applications beyond just the insulation under slab. In Europe, the sales are about 50-50 between green building, which includes a green roof application, and infrastructure projects. Domestically, we're working with the Port Authority and their chief material manager to do a test market of our product. Great applications out at LaGuardia, where they're doing renovations, as well as potentially the Kennedy Airport. So we're looking to do a test market with the Port Authority. We are ready to go. Our partnership with Geocell allows us to fill orders today with imported product, but our goal is to set up manufacturing just south of Albany in the port of Coymans, New York. That will allow us to barge our raw material up from Jersey City and transform that 17,000 tons into that 140,000 cubic yards of product. The capitalization for the equipment is about $8.5 million, and we're raising that through partnerships with the New York State Development, both loans and grants, some impact investor loan sources, and then, of course, our partners in Europe will be an equity partner helping to offset the cost of capital, or the capital expenditures, I should say. We're also doing a $1.5 million convertible debt round. This will allow us to have some operating capital and runway to hire staff in advance of sales, build up our team, and make sure that we can fulfill the orders sooner rather than later as we import the product throughout the coming year. The prize money, if we're so fortunate to win this evening, will be immediately deployed. We plan on translating all of the marketing materials from German into English and getting our website up and running and expanding our soft launch. And we had to end with a big baby. Believe it or not, 40 years ago, Flores was an infant. And 40 years ago, the EPA conducted a feasibility study, and they recommended that we transform waste glass into foam glass insulation. And you think about the ideas that are way ahead of their time. We believe that Glavels is an idea whose time has come. Thank you.
Any questions? Yeah, Janice. So can you talk a little bit about your sales strategy? You say you have a partner now that you're doing some feasibility work with. Talk a little bit about how what markets you're selling into and who your end customer is.
We're very strong in the residential and commercial construction market. I have very extensive networks in there because I've been actually importing building materials for the last 7 years for high performance construction. So we already did this. We're starting our soft launch right now. We had a little event in Burlington a couple days ago, and we've had very positive response. So it's just really this combination between the labor savings and the green or sustainable aspects of the product, really upcycling that glass to a better product that really has a lot of architects interested. And then of course we need to, the contractor needs to have an easy time installing it, but we're pretty confident about this as well.
Local projects, we've already talked to PC Construction, who's doing the Burlington Town Center project. Great applications from the green roof to under slab to the infrastructure that's going to be going in. And Eric Farrell is doing a project on North Ave. Would love to use our product in groundbreaking in November this year, so we would be importing product for those projects. So lots of pilot projects between now and when we get production up and running.
I was just saying the other day, there's not enough pitches with babies in them, so great job, guys.
A big baby.
Yeah. So you mentioned that foam glass has been around for a long time. Why now and why you?
So foam glass has been a pretty commonly used product in Europe. There's a couple of reasons for that. For one, they're a little bit better in the recycling than we are. Like what we do with recycling, we put the bottle away, but it doesn't really get recycled. It gets crushed and put on their highways. So we want to change that, and we're working with the recycler in New York and also with Casella, and to adapt that a little bit so we can actually get the glass out. And we're not picky about the color, which just makes it a little bit easier. Because actually what the recycler in New York does now, he only picks out some white glass, and that's actually New York City glass, and there's still a bunch of white glass in it. So he's not so good about picking out the white glass. We don't care about that. We just want the glass, and then we can make this product. So now really the time has come to start using this. And there's already energy's gone into making the glass, and we want to reuse that so we can actually get a productive thing out of it in insulation and energy efficiency besides highway fill.
Yeah, and I would say, why now? We're reaching a point where there is great desire to make something out of this glass that has no value. So that's the why now. And the why us is Flores' experience with energy efficient buildings and the desire to make energy efficient building even more cost effective, and Glavel helps do that.
One more quick one.
Who else wants that bottle, and how much are they willing to pay?
Who else wants the bottle, and how much are they willing to pay?
So right now, nobody is willing to pay for it because it's garbage.
Yeah.
So the recycler would be very happy. And right now, what they do, they pay you $5 or more per ton to just come pick it up. You know, once you ship it for 10 miles or 20, 30 miles, it's about zero, you know, with the gas. You know, we can pay a little bit for it, you know, in our financials. Of course, we don't want to pay too much, you know, because whatever the market bears. So this is the equation, but we can actually pay something for the glass and still make it work. It's not a problem.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All right, next up here, we're going to welcome Andy from Sustainability Benefits. Round of applause.
Tough to follow a baby. I don't know where to go with that. Great. Hi, everybody. My name's Andy Voda. I'm from Sustainability Benefits. We're a green employee benefits platform. So we help companies recruit and retain great people and build a positive company culture with our green employee benefit programs. We're very happy to have a few early clients, some of which you've heard from today, NRG Systems, 7th Generation, and the City of Fort Collins. We're raising $250,000 in convertible debt to fund marketing, advertising, sales, and additional product development. So I'm going to talk you through what we're doing, why companies are interested in it, and how it can have a big impact in the world. Okay, great. So companies of all types face challenges recruiting and retaining employees, especially millennials. And so one way that companies have dealt with this is to offer benefits. And they've expanded them beyond traditional medical and dental to lots of different things: wellness, commuting benefits, voluntary benefits of all sorts. And there's been a lot of growth in that market. In addition, there's a whole category of these around sustainability and employee engagement. These are green benefits. And so lots of companies that you've heard of, many companies that we've heard from today, offer these types of benefits. So Bank of America, for example, has had a hybrid car reimbursement program since 2007. They've done it for about 7,000 of their employees. Google, L'Oreal, 7th Generation, Green Mountain Power, you name it. A lot of companies do this in different ways. Offering this is one way that companies differentiate themselves as well and sort of show their customers and their employees that they're walking the walk. You might be surprised to learn that employee household carbon footprints are actually a really large amount of a company's overall carbon footprint. So for a 300-person service company, like in this example, employees represent 2/3 of the carbon footprint, double than that of the business itself. And even for a larger business that is more intensive and has more carbon emissions, it can be about equal. Surprising. So we got into this idea and said, there is a huge opportunity for impact here, and that's what we're going after. So most of the programs from companies already today are one-offs that are run in-house. And so we've built a turnkey, scalable sustainability benefit program that we can offer today to any company of any size. We're a spin-out from VEIC, who you probably heard about today, which is a nonprofit energy efficiency program implementer and consulting firm. It's been around for 30 years. And VEIC offered this to employees for the past 10 years. And over that 10 years, the household carbon footprints of the employees have been reduced 24%. Through the combination of this benefit and the measurement tool that I'm going to talk about. So here's how it works. We provide a simple online platform for employees, and we take care of all the administrative hassles for employers. Thank you. An employee is interested in going solar, getting a farm share, maybe getting a new bike. They go onto our custom website that we create for each company. They discover what's available. They research the purchase, they ask us for help if they need it, and we've got lots of live support for them from actual experts. They buy the product, they upload their receipt into our system, and in a couple weeks, the money shows up in their paycheck. It's pretty simple. We pair the benefit with a household carbon footprint survey, so employees get a report about how they're doing and how they compare against others. We make it very easy for the employers as well. basically what they need to do is determine how much they want to fund the benefit for, send us a list of their employees, and we do the rest. So we launch the program, we make a custom website, and we deal with all the administrative side. We review all the claims, process them, and basically ship them a list of who gets paid and how much. Employers also get a report showing them how the benefit is working and where the opportunities for additional progress are. The way the business works is we charge per employee per month, pretty much like a standard benefit offering. It's usually around $3 to $4 PEPM, depending on the size of the company, and that tends to go down a bit when we get into larger companies. So it's a recurring revenue model, and it's built for scale. As I mentioned, we're very proud to serve 7th generation in the city of Fort Collins. They use our survey product and have for a couple of years. And we do the full benefit for NRG systems and also for our parent organization, VEIC. This is who we've been talking to, thank you, and who we'd like to be talking to. We're going out through, that was a quick 6 minutes. We've been going out to benefit brokers to get through their existing networks. We're going out to companies that already have a benefit like this, and we're also going where values-driven businesses already hang out, like around B Corps, 1% for the planet. We're looking to add another 500 employee users to our system this year, to have about 1,000 to start next year, and we look to break even with 10,000 employee users on 1/1/19. You can see our projections here. We don't have a ton of competition. It's in-house programs. There's some small plays here, and I think there's some others around utility or employee engagement programs. We have a great, experienced, passionate team who's got 90 years of collective experience across business, energy efficiency, program design, software development, behavior, employee engagement, data analytics, you name it. So, basically, that's what we're all about. We've got an offering that's great for the companies that we serve. It's great for their employees. It's got a tremendous potential for impact on the planet. Like I said, we're raising $250,000 in a convertible note. And we're really excited to be here today talking to you. And thank you to all you folks for a really tremendous experience and a great conference. So thanks.
Thank you very much. Can you talk a little bit about the relationship with VEIC? Are you independent of VEIC, and to what extent are you relying upon their resources to implement your model?
Yep, thanks, Rob. So we're a spin-out from VEIC. We created a subsidiary C corporation right now, although we'd like to become a benefit corporation very soon. So right now we're wholly owned by VEIC, but the reason why we created a separate for-profit corporation is so that we could sell equity. We have the really great advantages of being in the VEIC office right now, but we're building this thing to separate, to scale, and to eventually be sold or acquired or whatever. So we're trying to make use of all the great advantages of the VEIC network and connections and resources, but also really position this like a business that's poised for growth as a separate entity.
What's your pitch to your prospects in your pipeline right now? What are the top 2 or 3 things you're pitching that makes you different and unique from what others may be doing, or
Yep.
what they may be doing themselves?
Right. It's really about employer brand is really the sort of core focus. So for companies that are in competitive labor markets that already compete on benefits, they want to do something different. They want to do something that shows their values, which a lot of employees care about. This is a great way to do it. It's simple for them. We handle all the complexity, but it's legit. It's authentic. We measure it. We do really legitimate stuff that actually helps save energy, but also employees like it, and it helps improve their quality of life. So that's what sort of for the net new kind of customers. We're also talking to people that already administer a benefit, and it's a hassle for them. We can bring economies of scale, efficiencies, and also all the data from all the other people we work with. So it's sort of a cost savings for them. So it's really, the value proposition is really about lower your cost to recruit and retain, engage and keep the good employees that you have a great story to tell when you're out there in the market, or lower your administrative costs. We're also sort of pitching people, hey, expand your wellness offering to include sustainability. You don't put any more money behind it, but give your employees way more choices and meet them where they're at, which is all over. So, thank you.
You did a great job. Or do you have a question? Oh, no, I've already asked a question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry if I missed this, but how do you make money? Is it commission on?
So we charge a fee per employee per month for everybody that's on the platform. So if it's $4 per employee per month, they have 100 employees, it's $400 a month plus setup and a renewal fee. Yeah, it's everyone who's registered on it, yeah. Yep.
You did a great job answering Janice's question in terms of the value that you're bringing. What kind of response have you had for the $4 PPEM? Because that, for some companies, that could be a big number.
Yeah. We haven't had a ton of pushback on that price. So, we base that on what the market, what others charge in the market for similar things. So I think where we have had pushback is around the amount that companies are funding. So that's why I've been saying, hey, what are you doing already? Is it working for you? How could you take that same amount of money and deploy it more broadly in a more measurable way? But yeah, it'll be interesting to see, but we haven't had a lot of pushback on that number, so.
Awesome, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
And next we have Bryan from AgriLab Technologies.
Hi, I'm Bryan from AgriLab Technologies. Which the advance one? There we go. So we design, and implement advanced composting systems. So what is that? In me, what I think about that is we're taking the biomass, the residuals, food scraps, manure, other residuals, and the carbon that is in those materials, we're converting those into forms that can go back into the soil rather than being lost to our atmosphere. Specifically, we've developed platforms, the hardware, the stainless steel, and other components to make the most efficient composting systems possible. So we aerate these piles, which accelerates the process, bringing more oxygen to break down those residuals. And what we do uniquely is we have a specialized heat exchanger. So we're able to capture the heat, the thermal energy, and add value to our customers' sites by allowing them to use that energy for heating buildings, greenhouses, on dairy farms, it's for wash water, and now we're getting involved in product drying to add additional opportunities. So what's the impact here? There's a ton of great ideas that came here today, so I have to be realistic that we're not going to change the world just with compost. But we think there's a lot of important things that are connected to this on a climate basis. Food scraps going to landfills are a massive source of methane. A lot of these residuals are not only sources of carbon pollution in our atmosphere, but they're also often sources of odors. Food scraps can be resisted by some people that are developing a site. And manure obviously is a part of impacting our watersheds here in Vermont and all over our country, Chesapeake Bay and so on. So we're taking these applications. We've now done this in 11 different installations in 5 different states. And with that platform of equipment, we're trying to make it easier for people to do this. We're trying to make it not such a challenge to develop and expand these facilities, expand that infrastructure to be changing these, what I like to call underdog resources, into soil building assets. And at the same time, glean that energy that's a natural byproduct or co-product of the process and put it to use. The other benefits, specifically for our customers, why is this changing for them, is we're looking to apply this technology in different settings. We've started on farms, so reducing their time that they spend turning the material. And in this case, we've done this on 5 different states. Now we're in New Hampshire, Vermont, New York, Massachusetts, and most recently, earlier this summer, we put our first installation into Connecticut. One of the things that's allowed us to do this more capably over time is adding remote monitoring and control capabilities. That's allows us to start up the sites and optimize the systems more rapidly and provide that support to people who are adapting their process to an aeration. So why is this doable? Well, we've done the work over the last few years, the research and development, developing the components that can stand up in these difficult, harsh environments, and we've proved that it works and delivers good value to the customers with a good ROI. The next step for us, now that we've got strong performance, both in terms of technical performance and the economics on these sites, is to try to get beyond the Northeast and get into new markets. We have a team that has been coalesced over the last several years. We're still a small company. There's 6 of us that are full and part-time, but we basically have to wear a lot of hats at this stage of the company. We have to work in everything, sometimes from planning the site, how this integrates with their specific site constraints, to developing funding opportunities, looking for cost sharing or other financing, to then physically being out on the site, putting together the aeration ducts and the other parts of the system to connect it and make it go live. So that's taken a diverse set of skills. Jamie, who is here today, likes to call herself a Jill of all trades. I think that's an apt description, where we have to do a lot of different things to meet the needs, as we're really establishing a new market. This is a new renewable energy category, but really we're focusing on a lot of the process efficiency benefits too. So our customers, we started with farmers, and that's where we were able to refine the technology. Now we're working more with commercial and municipal sites, and that's a big opportunity. All these customers deal with these residuals that can cause odor, pollution, but looking at all the heavy equipment they operate, that's a lot of diesel consumption, and our process makes that more efficient, allows them to, in some cases, cut their use in half, while at the same time putting useful heat towards those facilities of greenhouses and now product drying. So there's a lot of benefits and an opportunity to grow into this market that's much larger. One thing I wanted to ask of this audience, since we have the opportunity for this exposure, is, since we are a new technology, is to share the results that we have accomplished and provide more incentives. Help people who are at this early adopter stage, who perceive a risk for taking on something new, do something else. And then those mechanisms for putting soil back into the carbon, that's the other piece that we have not monetized in our current model and would open up some new opportunities for us as well. So thank you. Here's our team. Appreciate the opportunity to share what we're doing.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. How do you sell this unit to farmers, or do you lease it to them? What's the transaction? How do you make money?
We've primarily sold them, but since we moved from doing one-off systems that were built on site to a modular mobile package, we now do have lease financing. So we've been eligible for funding through, or financing through Yankee Farm Credit for some of our farm customers, and then a local leasing company. So we've done a lease arrangement as well. Cost to the customer, our projects are different designs, range anywhere from about $30,000 to $90,000 per unit.
So for the newer market that you're looking at in terms of municipalities and composting sites, talk a little bit about what the benefit to them is in terms of not only financial benefit, but to their own residential base or customers.
The benefits we provide are, we bundle them. So process efficiency is the biggest thing we provide. We accelerate the time it takes from that raw feedstock to get to a useful product for them to sell or otherwise distribute. That means less labor, and it means less fuel consumption in their own equipment. And then by adding the captured energy value for heating facilities or drying product or other on-site energy uses, that's the big savings. What it does, gives them more capacity. So the other side, where it might be able to, in Massachusetts, Vermont, and other states that have adopted food scrap bans, is it's very expensive to expand their physical footprint, so we can process more material on the same location, and that's the case for our site in Middlebury right now. They would be looking to expand beyond their current site, and instead they're able to intensify the process with our support. Started, we were in collaboration with a Canadian heat exchange company,
Kyle Kornak. I'm co-founder of Green Gas. That's a little loud. So by a show of hands, how many of you guys drive cars? Okay. And keep your hands up if you've ever been frustrated about your car's environmental impact. Okay, I thought so. So today I'm here to share with you my nonprofit Green Gas, which is making it incredibly easy for folks like you to channel this frustration into meaningful climate impact. Now, a survey from Yale just came out recently showing that 58% of Americans are now worried about climate change. This shift in belief, along with plummeting costs of renewables, has caused over 1.5 million homeowners to adopt solar. But when it comes to transportation, it's a lot more difficult for us as individuals to take that same action. 50% of citizens lack access to public transportation, and there are 200 million combustion vehicles on the road right now. All of this has contributed to gas consumption levels that's continually increased, reaching a record high just in July. So this all begs the question, is there a way of helping Americans take action now to meaningfully reduce the carbon footprint of this travel? And our answer is green gas. The idea is super simple. Imagine you're at a gas station, and just as the gas pump would ask you credit or debit, green gas is another option. And by pressing this button, you fund a climate solution for a few cents a gallon that is certified to offset 100% of the footprint of your purchase. Now, while we work with gas station stakeholders to integrate this into the pump, we've created another option that allows you to fund climate solutions at any gas station in the country. And we're launching this in fall. So it's the Green Gas debit card. It automatically offsets gasoline, any gas station. It's completely free to sign up. We're a nonprofit, so the only charge you ever pay is the 10-cent tax-deductible contribution per gallon. And you don't have to create a new bank account, just like Venmo or PayPal. You simply sync this to your existing checking account. So where does the money go? Well, we fund projects that are certified carbon projects that sequester carbon into our Earth's soils. One of our first projects is a community reforestation program based in Nicaragua. They pay farmers to reforest clear-cut areas with a combination of native trees and cash crops that generate a long-term income for them. This is just one of the first of our many projects, hopefully, and as we continue to grow, we plan to carefully curate a portfolio of climate solutions that include breakthrough strategies like marine permaculture, carbon capture. So all this is great, but will people actually pay more for gasoline? And one of the pieces of evidence is a peer-reviewed study showed that an adaptation of Uber offered people the chance to pay more at the end of their ride to offset it. A remarkable 49% chose to do so. But even at a 2% adoption rate of green gas, which is about the number of people who've chosen hybrid cars, we're still talking about a $315 million opportunity for climate finance here. Now, gas stations see value in us in terms of us being able to differentiate them and drive loyalty amongst environmentally conscious consumers, millennials particularly, to their businesses. It's a business decision for them. This is Elias, one of the many gas station owners we've spoken with, who called green gas a no-brainer. So our business model is we're selling carbon credits via the gas pump and the green gas card. And while we are a nonprofit, we have a cash-positive business model. So we can graduate from philanthropy and pitch contests. No offense. So our team has started businesses before. We started Boston's first organic beverage company and scaled it to a multi-million-dollar size before founding Green Gas a year ago. We've led national nonprofits and marketing and sales departments in the clean tech space. Our advisors have executive leadership in retail fuel and have also led loyalty programs for multi-billion-dollar corporations. One of our advisors has a clientele of 25,000 gas stations, and he's made an effort to partner with us to broker us into that network. So I had the great pleasure of presenting this idea at the United Nations in spring, where we won MIT's competition for carbon solutions. And Northeastern has also footed the bill for to get this card off the ground with a seed grant. Looking forward, the cards are in production right now. We're launching them in about 5 weeks now. We're going to have this pilot for the card, and then we're going to have shortly followed thereafter by an on-pump pilot at select New England gas stations. So, look, I mean, green gas, and I'll keep it on here. Green gas is, I believe it can really ignite grassroots funding for climate solutions. And, I mean, with political efforts stalling right now, we need to engage the public with day-to-day methods to address this existential threat. And so in sum, green gas is a super simple and viable way of funding and scaling the solutions we need to create this just, clean, and regenerative economy. Thank you.
Thanks, Kyle.
I'd like to welcome my co-founders, Liam Madden and David Cooch.
So who's processing your credit card? I mean, presumably you're going to use somebody who's going to provide you a white label credit card.
Right. Yeah. So we have a technology partner. Oh, Mike. Sorry. So we have a technology partner that he's actually the advisor of ours that has he works with 25,000 gas stations, and he creates loyalty cards for them. So this is ACH based, and it's a white label debit program, and we're the first non-gas station client he's had. So it's kind of a strategic move. Yeah.
So I was wondering why you need the gas station. Can't this just be an app that charges you when you go to a gas station automatically?
Yes, the card is independent of gas station buy-in. However, we think the biggest potential is with gas stations because of the net of people will be so much wider, opposed to having a very self-selecting group of people who are going to go out and remember to use their app. We really want to be in front of every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's going to show up to that gas station.
I don't know that I understand the green button at the pump when you have the card, which seems to be as effective, if not more effective, and cost effective for you to implement. So maybe you can help me understand why you're pursuing the green button at the pump versus just sticking with the card.
Okay. So the card is incredibly scalable. I mean, we can cast a wide net over the entire nation and gather those early adopters that we can then leverage later on in our on-pump pilot to drive those customers to those gas stations. But really the majority of the benefit, when you look at it, is when we get out of the wallet and into the streets of America. We want people, every citizen to have this opportunity. And even if they don't make this choice, with 40 million people fueling up at the pump every day, it's important ramifications for environmental advocacy in terms of carbon pricing and the principle it should cost more to pollute. Yeah, sorry.
Sorry, the example you gave of the project, is it an actual one or one you're planning to work on?
It is an actual project that has been doing its carbon negative practices for a while now, and we would simply be adding to that.
Okay, so we didn't stop that to serve the needs you have, it's something you're tacking onto.
Exactly.
Correct, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you, how will I know that my contribution via the green card or the gas pump is going where you say it's going? Mm-hmm. What's the transparency?
So all the due diligence documents will be available. If you want to get wonky with it, the 60-page project descriptions. But in terms of just customer-facing engagement, we're going to communicate through visuals, through emails, receipts, and monthly updates, and we'll have kind of a login portal that we're designing right now for folks to log online, look at how many trees they've planted, look at the farmers they've personally supported, and so that's our plan right now. Yeah.
Awesome, thanks. And we're going to have Paul from Packetized Energy.
Okay.
Hello, I'm Paul Hines. I'm a co-founder of Packetized Energy, and we're a clean tech startup here in Vermont that is working to smooth the transition to a renewable future. So the world of energy is in a period of dramatic transition. Wind and solar electricity are the two fastest growing sources of electricity worldwide. And that's an enormous business opportunity. It's creating lots of opportunities for clean energy businesses. It's also creating an enormous opportunity to clean up the climate. It's also creating some serious challenges for the electricity system. Electricity systems were made for coal and nuclear plants that kind of do very boring things. They just turn on and run. Wind and solar are much more interesting. They vary during the day really, really dramatically. And in order to run this system, this means that sometimes we've got way too much electricity and sometimes we've got way too little. We need to figure out how to balance this. So this is a serious challenge for the electricity system. The second challenge is aging infrastructure. So the grid was designed based on technology from 100, 200 years ago, and it hasn't changed dramatically ever since. A lot of that infrastructure is aging, needs to be replaced, and it's enormously expensive to do so. If we fail to adapt the system to the changing renewable environment, we could have serious costs. So what should we do? One thing we could do, we could just build plain old new infrastructure, but that's way too expensive and it's not clean. The other thing we can do is transform things that are already connected to the electricity system, like electric vehicles, water heaters, batteries, air conditioners, all sorts of things that are already connected to the grid, and use them to create flexibility. So what we're doing is creating groups of assets that are flexible groups and making them work like power plants. The tricky thing is that other people are talking about doing this, but doing this in a way that actually works is really, really tricky. Doing this in a way that doesn't bother the people that actually own this, you and me who actually have cars and water heaters, is really, really hard. Fortunately, we've got some technology through a patent-pending technology that's developed at the university that's able to solve this problem. And we're creating a software platform that's coordinating things like water heaters, electric vehicles, freezers, batteries, pool pumps, all sorts of different things that are already connected to the grid, making them work like batteries so we can absorb that renewable energy when it's available and avoid the expensive, dirty stuff when it's not. And the reason you want to do this is because electricity prices and the value of electricity fluctuates really dramatically during the day. During peak hours of the summer here in Vermont, utilities are buying electricity at about $150 per unit and selling it to you for 15 cents, which is really bad business. During other hours, oftentimes electricity is better than free. So we want to use the better than free electricity and avoid the expensive stuff. We do that by transforming algorithms that already run your phones and things that are connected to the internet by dividing energy into small packets and moving those packets in time through a system that we call packetized energy management. And this program has been selected by ARPA-E, the Department of Energy, as one of the most innovative, most promising technologies to solve this problem that we're talking about. What's amazing is that it works really well. So we've been able to, we're running several pilot projects right now. We're also testing a lot of this in simulation. This is 300 water heaters. Initially, the water heaters are doing whatever they want to do, and the renewable supply is available. We turn our system on, and the supply and demand line up perfectly. So our technology has a number of advantages relative to existing approaches to this problem. First of all, ARPA-E and a lot of other federal agencies have looked at this technology and decided this is among the most promising. So we're building on $4 million, more than $4 million of federal research funds to develop and test this technology. It's fundamentally scalable. One of the problems is that a lot of people working with electric utilities are doing pilot projects at super duper small scales, but they won't be able to scale it up because the technology is too complicated. Ours is super simple, based on stuff that already runs the internet. And the other beauty of using algorithms that already run the internet is it results in a solution that's completely transparent, both to the utility and to the end user. So no one will notice that this is happening with their water heater. No one will notice that this is happening with their electric vehicle. And utilities can use this system in the same way that they use their existing resources, like power plants. Our technology has been looked at by lots of different experts and found to be among the most promising that's out there. We've already got pilot projects running in Vermont and lots of exciting opportunities outside of the state coming soon. The last thought I'd like to leave you with is that Vermont has been a leader in efficiency for a long time, and they've done some really innovative things to help electricity consumers reduce the amount of energy that they're using. But now, sometimes electricity from solar and wind is better than free, and that extra electricity is getting thrown away. We should come up with really creative ways to use that electricity to do good things and then avoid the dirty stuff when it's available. Our software is creating that platform to change the way that we're running these systems. We'd love for you to join our team. We're looking for a couple of additional investors in our seed round, and we'll be hiring software engineers and business development experts really soon to facilitate our growth. Thanks. I'd love to answer questions.
So does it also actuate the devices, so signals and actuates?
Yeah, so we're primarily a software company, but we also have hardware products. We've got a water heater manager that's kind of like a Nest thermostat for your water heater that's going through the UL listing process. We'll be launching later this year. And so that will basically transform a dumb water heater into a smart one. It's Wi-Fi connected. It enables the utilities to get the grid services that they need while also making sure that you don't get a cold shower.
So Paul, talk about how you're making money.
So we make money. We're organized as a software as a service business, and so our primary revenue stream is by selling the service of electricity services to utilities and other electricity industry members like solar developers who can sell grid services to the markets. But so as the side benefit, we're also providing services to end users. And so our water heater, for example, has a leak detector that we can add to it so that we can sell these add-on benefits to homes and businesses.
And are you just running pilot projects with utilities that you mentioned up there, or do you actually have fee-paying customers now?
So our projects right now are paid projects. We have 3 paid projects going on. We also have some grants that we're working on. And we've got some exciting projects outside the state coming really soon. All of them paid.
And you said it's the underlying research was funded by ARPA-E.
Yeah, so the research was funded at the university. So this is a spin-off from the University of Vermont. And then we decided that instead of just doing the research at the university and writing papers about it, we actually wanted to solve real energy problems. And so we decided to create the company in order to be the commercialization arm and make this happen in the real world.
So are you licensing it from the university?
Yeah, we're licensing from the university.
Anybody else?
Yep, exclusive.
Good to go. All right, great. Thanks so much, Paul.
Thanks a lot.
All right, so one last round of applause for all of our pitchers. Thanks so much. All right, so we're going to take a minute. I'm going to ask the judges to just meet me outside of that doorway. We'll just step into a little room and deliberate for just 10 minutes. We'll make it fast, so hang out here for just a minute, grab a drink, and we will be back in 10 to announce our winner. Thank you. All right, if people want to start gathering back in, we are all ready with a winner. Just give the people out in the hall a couple minutes to gather back in, take a seat. All right. Great. So thank you all again so much for being here tonight. It's been really great. Having the pitchers here has been a really cool experience for us. I know that I spoke to a couple of people during the course of the event who mentioned that being able to have these young businesses out in the hall really bringing a tangibility to this space made a big impact on them and made this event something special. So I really thank all of you for taking the time and the energy to be here tonight. I would really encourage everybody, now that we're going to sort of break up here after we announce a winner, to have some networking. Even the folks who aren't up here, they're all fantastic ideas, so I would encourage everyone to interact and learn as much as you can about the companies that came out today. We're going to have drinks and dessert right after this, so without further ado, we do have a winner. Can we get a little drum roll going? Can we all do a little? Thank you so much. All right, so our winner today, and you can come on up, is Packetized Energy. All right, and Paul is going to wrap us up.
So let's have a round of applause for Marguerite, for all our contestants, for our judges, and for all, especially for our winning entrepreneurs at Packetized Energy. I'll ask you, Paul. I don't know if the folks that were working on the video stuff are still here, but these are young guys that put themselves on the line, and man, they were under pressure tonight. Let's have a round of applause for them. Good guys. So I just want to make a couple of remarks here. Dessert, wine, beer, there's stations around for it from The Alchemist, Flag Hill Farm, SAP donated products, and Vote Solar, the National Association, sponsored this part of the evening. So don't be shy. You don't need to leave. Enjoy, visit, network, and let's take advantage of our time together. I want to remind everyone who's going on a tour, the tours leave at 8:30 sharp tomorrow morning from the back parking lot of the Sheraton. It's going to be a great day tomorrow, so you should come. My last thought, we're living in challenging times. Ernest Shackleton in The Challenger, you know, he went through tremendous obstacles in his polar explorations, and people know that story. He said, "Optimism is the true moral courage." Today, the climate economy has to be the foundation of our optimism. And as such, it's the patriotic imperative of our time. So you folks who are on the line building this economy, all our pitchers, all our investors, all our entrepreneurs, all the public policy folks that are pushing this work forward, we're doing something together here that's foundational for the future. You're our heroes, and thank you for being with us. If you're leaving tonight and you're going off, go with courage. Go with the fact that we're all in this. We're all in this together. If you're from away, come back to Vermont sometime. It's the beckoning country for climate economy businesses. In these crazy times, don't move to Canada and don't listen to the French president. Come to Vermont. Come to Vermont. We're open for business. And if you're here, yeah, there's plenty of room for you up there, Bryan. If you're here, let's work together to make Vermont the model for economic revitalization in the climate economy for rural America. We'll be in touch with you all. We're going to be in touch after this event. We're going to look for your advice. We're going to carry that advice to the State House. We're going to carry it to the governor. We're in this for the long term, and we're proud to be in this with all of you. Thank you so much for being here, for putting your leadership on the line, and good night.